so much stress for Jay-Z when it comes to this lawsuit with Rymir, because there is more press, more conversation, and more concealment and delay that is happening from via Jay-Z's side. Let's get into some documents, let's get into some legalities, and let's discuss what is happening, because Rymir's people are basically speaking. Dr. Lily Coley responds to Jay-Z's article of him breaking his silence on this stuff. She states that a phone call was terminated when the attorney for Roc Nation called from a private line, unidentified. They could not verify the person's identity, and they would not let me speak. In addition to the fact that there was minors with me in the car on the highway. The law firm is called Reed Smith, who represents Desiree Perez, and they did some very shady things to Demore in terms of her case against her mother. So once again, there are lawyers for Jay-Z working on his side, doing shady stuff like this. Why are you phoning somebody unidentified, trying to get information out of them and threaten them in this way? I think, it's very much troubling. She also goes on to say that Rymir's story is not fabricated. His mother told him. Rymir's paternity question has never been adjudicated or a discovery hearing. None of that has ever happened. So the problem is, guys, that Jay-Z, in my opinion, is hiding behind his wife's success to do the dirty work. Every time the streets get hot, she posts a picture of something of them together, and then he comes up and does some kind of performance, and that's what people really speak about. Because the fact that Jay-Z's people clearly are doing secret phone calls to make all of this go away unidentified is very similar to what was happening with the alleged victim with Busby and that lawsuit, and for the fact that private investigators showed up to a house and had these random recordings, and they weren't even working properly. They were an external force that clearly Jay-Z hired, but he claimed that he did not hire. Now, if we look at some legal documents to this conversation, he states himself, guys, that he was not aware of this lawsuit until June the 3rd. So clearly there is some lack of communication going on, guys, in the Jay-Z Carter household, for the fact that you don't know that this lawsuit has been going on for a very long time, or for your father, or not your father, your son, allegedly Rymir. You don't know about any of that stuff, despite the fact that Jay-Z refused to accept service of the summons before June the 3rd. You're claiming that you didn't know about this lawsuit, but clearly there's documents to show that something else happened when there were multiple attempts on May the 17th, May the 19th, May the 27th, multiple where services were received, where services of the summons were refused, but you're now claiming that you didn't know anything until June the 3rd. I smell a lie in this conversation. And normally when there's one lie, there's multiple. And so I feel like Jay-Z is trying to patch things up to delay everything. Because what was the reason for you refusing summons? He's been using the justice system to basically silence Rymir. Because why are you prolonging and dragging this out? And why are you lying, talking about you didn't know about any of this until early June? And all of this is harassment. Diddy Docket says, you should all know by now that the current lawsuits against Jay-Z brought by Rymir, his alleged son, are not about establishing paternity. They are about deceit by concealment, abuse of process, infliction of emotional distress, and more. So these little white lies that are coming out in the reports of Jay-Z breaking his silence on this conversation of Rymir, and if we're looking at the legal documents, to me, implies that he is, I feel, worried. I think panic is a strong word, but I think that he's very worried about this lawsuit, the fact that it's gaining momentum. He knew that him breaking silence on it would gain momentum, which is why I feel like he broke silence on it in the same week that he was performing in Atlanta, and the same week that this CDs or whatever were stolen from Beyonce's car, or unreleased music, all of it to drown out this conversation and noise. But Rymir is not stopping. He feels like he has been taken advantage of by Jay-Z and the people, that they have basically violated the justice system, judiciary corruption all over, and that is what the majority of these lawsuits are about. And yet again, when he tries to raise his voice, you got these secret phone calls from these secret law services that work for Roc Nation, that worked for Desiree Perez, that are doing the same thing for Jay-Z. So it's so interesting that Desiree Perez and Jay-Z both have lawsuits coming at them from their, biological or allegedly biological children, and both of those people have been in contact with each other, these children, to say good luck to each other for what they're doing to their parents. I feel like Roc Nation is on its last legs. I think that this is the beginning of the end of Rock Nation, and I do feel like it will happen extremely slowly. It's something that will take a gradual time, because I do believe that they have so much judiciary influence over multiple artists when it comes to their criminal actions or not, and getting off or locking people in, that they are becoming way too powerful, and people around do not like that. And so I think when people around do not like that, they end up investing in investing in these lawsuits, just like how people were from Diageo were investing in Cassie to bring Diddy down, or basically humiliate him and ruin his career, which is basically what has happened. I feel like the same thing is going to happen to Rock Nation. It's just going to take a very long time. But I think that this is the beginning of the end for this man, and I do think that, you know, these lawsuits are going to continue to pile up. These financial lawsuits, these paternity lawsuits, that lawsuit with Busby, another one like that will come up as well, and it's going to happen. I think that Jay-Z also is just becoming too powerful, and people around him don't like that, and I believe that he is somebody, because of where he is, he needs to sleep with one eye open every night, unfortunately, because of the friends that he's made that are probably his enemies. Not to mention Nicki Minaj calling this man out every single day for financial corruption, for the fact that he's stolen from her. And, you know, it's very interesting because it's similar to Bad Boy Records and what they do to their musical employees and how they basically got ran out of their contracts. Now, speaking of Bad Boy Records and Diddy and his trial, it seems that a lot of filings are not being produced up until the October 3rd sentencing. Why is that? Speaking of judiciary corruption, stuff like this is very much, you know, needed, but it's not being filed. Inner City Press tweets, Judge Arun is still presiding over the US vs. Sean Combs in the lead up to October 3rd sentencing. Things are not going into the public docket. For example, the prosecutor's filing about offense conduct, which was due on July 11th, but did not take place. So specific filings that were meant to be in the public, for the public media and public, you know, to access, isn't being done properly. And I would like to know why. I think that it isn't proper, and I feel like Judge Arun and people around him need to make sure, are certain filings not being produced on a timely manner because there are secret conversations happening behind doors, judiciary corruption, did these people trying to buy time, or, you know, trying to buy somebody out before the sentencing? This is the biggest thing, I believe, after the verdict, is the sentencing. And I think that these months that lead up to the sentencing, there's going to be a lot of corruption, a lot of influence that goes on behind the scenes to try and make sure this man gets a reduced sentence. Why aren't certain filings being published at the time that they're meant to be published? Even if it's a day late, I understand, but we are well into 15th of July. It's been 4 to 5 days. What's going on about offense conduct? I'm glad that Inner City Press is basically standing on this conversation and making us all aware that certain things are not being filed, and he's even written it in writing to the judge to make sure that they are on job, because certain things are going missing now and I don't understand why. I'm also waiting for other jurors to speak up. Since the Mr. Bean looking-ass juror wants to raise his voice into a media circus, I want the other jurors to speak up. I don't know why they're all so quiet after the verdict they gave. They seem to be so confident in the jurors' room. They seem to be so confident with expediting everything for the 4th of July so they can go home smiling in that damn van. I want to know where they all are, why all of you are so quiet. We would love to know what you guys think. Please do your interviews, give us your think pieces for why you were doing what you were doing, so that people can make you understand that you genuinely made the wrong choices, and that this man Diddy is an evil individual. He's an awful person, he's harmful, he's violent, as the judge was saying, and I definitely believe that he did sex traffic Cassie. So I think that the jurors got it completely wrong. But it's funny how they can be confident in the jurors room and get it wrong, but then when they want to come outside, they don't want to say nothing. I get it, they're afraid, and the judge has said not to do anything. I completely understand that perspective, but at the same time, speak with your chest. We've got alternate jurors doing a media circus, so why can't one of the main jurors in the main room say something? Because all of you seemed so happy in that van when I saw you guys leaving. I want to know what that all is about. I would really like to know. Where are the rest of the jurors? Why are all of them so quiet? Do some of them have some regrets? Are some of them understanding that, you know, things kind of went wrong? I would really love to know. Subscribe to the channel, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It's just one click to subscribe. That's all you guys have to do. It's just one click. Please do subscribe to the channel. Send a tip if you guys wish to, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video. Time is running out, guys. TikTok.